moving to politics. So here is a question. We won't finish it in the end. But we said a classic case of this blurring of the line between halacha psuka and political concerns is giving hashgacha to a restaurant that, in terms of kashrus, is shomer halacha, but is not shomer something else. Right?
So
It could be Shabbos.
Like a vegan restaurant? Like a non-Jewish vegan restaurant kind of thing?
So there could be a million, right? It could be Shabbos. Now that could be Jewish or not Jewish. It could be the type of entertainment that's there. It could be a whole bunch of things, right? Now each one of them will also have local concerns, and practical concerns, right? Like I said, like when it comes to Shabbos, as I said, for a lot of organizations, the reason they don't give Hashgacha on Shabbos has very little to do with halacha and has everything to do with the fact that they know that they're mashgichim. You just can't watch it, so they can't put their name on it. And for a lot of them, they won't give hashgacha to any restaurant because it's very hard as a communal organization to say, look, if you're within this many meters of the shul where the mashgiach happens to live, then I'll give you hashgacha. But if you live there, like you can't do that, right? So you have a policy. Right? And it's very hard to make exceptions, right? Like in Toronto, there are a lot of people who are upset about this, that the COR doesn't give hashgacha to restaurants open on Shabbos. But as Ray Heber said, he said, look, there are two, it's not, people say we don't give hashgacha to things that are open on Shabbos. That is false. A, we give hashgacha to all the catering in all the shuls, because it's easy to do that. Right? It's not that we have an opposition. We know things can be open on Shabbos. We can handle catering in shuls on Shabbos with hashgacha. We can't handle restaurants. And he said, and second of all, he said, there's one restaurant that we do. Why? Because look, at the end of the day, we don't think there's such a tzarech, and it's too hard and too much. There's one exception. What's the exception? Like there's a need. One need, which is that there's one hospital, which is Jewish, right? Which was the Jewish hospital, but the workers are not Jewish, and the cafeteria in the hospital is open on Shabbos under non-Jewish auspices, and there we send over a mashgiach because there it's a real tzorech, right? The whole hospital is kosher, and what enables it to be kosher is the fact that there's a mashgiach who can make sure the kitchen's always being used, and the workers are, it's pikuach nefesh. They're there with the people, and the non-Jews don't have to eat. Right? They need food, right? So we go and we give a hashgacha. But he said, besides for that, like practical, and a lot of people are very angry about it in Toronto. And he said, like, what do you want from my life? Like,
Angry that they gave it hashgacha?
No, that they don't give to other places. Right?
And let's say something like that where it doesn't have a shaykhah, but you know that it would, theoretically, if it wasn't for a policy concern.
So the problem is that you don't know. Because there's a lot of places...
It's not watched.
No, but there's a lot of places that would say, look, it's easy to get to be kosher, so I'd happily do it if you would put the hashgacha.
But I'm not kosher.
But I'm not going to... Meaning, I would spend the extra money on the kosher caramel syrup for my coffee... Right, because the extra $5,000 I'd spend a year is worth the extra income. Yeah. But in Kfar, you're not going to put the hashgacha, so I'm not going to get I'm not going to get the whole.
Are there places that are nizhar without a hashgacha in Toronto?
No, because most of the places that are asking, like, where does it come up? People get angry because Second Cup, which is like Starbucks in America, right? There's one very near the wealthy part of the Jewish community that wants hashgacha. Right. Now the coffee is kosher.
If it's in a rich part, why don't they put that stuff on?
What? Because they're open on Shabbos. No, because they're open on Shabbos.
He's making a political joke.
No, but I'm saying they're open on Shabbos. Yeah. So the COR wouldn't give them a hashgacha. Right? Now, but in the moment, are they kosher? The answer is no. The coffee is. Right? But the muffins and stuff and the bacon sandwiches they serve are not. Right?
But you would go in and get a coffee?
So people go in all the time in the From community will have a coffee, but they would make
kosher bagels and stuff.
Like
whatever, muffins. Yeah.
Right, like in Starbucks, the muffins are kosher.
Yeah. Okay.
In Toronto.
Oh,
in Canada.
Yeah.
In like they are. Like the rep from the COR told me, yeah, like they're baked at the factory and they're just brought there and open and it's kosher.
So could you do that? Like, could you have a mashgiach that goes and like figures out whether it's kosher but doesn't actually slap a hashgacha on it?
So the problem is, theoretically you could, but in this case, as long as they're not getting a hashgacha, they'll continue selling the non-kosher. Because they have two clienteles. They're saying, we're willing to give up the sandwiches if you can give us the hashgacha, and now we'll sell, we'll be limited in the sandwich we can sell. We'll have to buy it secondhand from the bakery. Because remember, they don't produce their own. They'll buy it from the kosher bakery. They'll have to charge an extra few dollars. But if they know they're going to have a huge Jewish community coming in, they'll do it. Right? So, it's one thing to say, oh, it's a frum Jew. The only thing is he doesn't have hashgacha, right? Then you'll hear people in Beitar say, oh, he doesn't have hashgacha, but I know him, right? Even though the Rush says the minhag is not to trust people like that, because once money's involved, we don't trust even the frumbest of people in a business setting, right? That's the minhag, not halacha. That's the minhag for many hundreds of years, because the Rush said we know. I think it's the Rush, right? Because he said we know reality, right? This is just we just know, right? It's that.
But let's say it's like a massive organization like Starbucks that has
No. But when you're talking about an organization like Starbucks, right?
Where they put all their ingredients out and their methods.
Yeah, but they have bacon sandwiches. They're not going to go against that.
No,
You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to be kosher without a hashgacha.
Sure.
That's not going to happen.
But let's say there was a product.
Well,
they're not.
No, I know.
They're not. They have bacon sandwiches. They're not.
I know what your response is going to be, but I'm not even going to bring it.
Let's say
they're not.
No, but the coffee would be fine theoretically.
I'm not saying about the coffee. I'm saying they wanted to go completely kosher.
I see. Okay.
No, I'm not saying the coffee.
Yeah.
The question of whether you can drink the coffee is a different story, which has to do with equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The coffee itself is kosher. But assuming you can deal with the equipment, fine. I'm saying they're not good. No non-Jew has any reason to keep kosher legamre if people aren't going to eat there as a kosher. That doesn't make any sense.
Can I just read to you?
They're just not.
Let's say it's like a pizza store and they don't sell bacon or
well, I'm making it easy. I'm saying this is just the practical.
Sure.
It's just practical.
Okay.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a case where someone is a chote. Right? Because the first one is practical.
Yeah.
Right? There are practical reasons why someone might. Right? Okay. Like I said, there are practical reasons why a kashrut organization wouldn't give a hashgacha to a place that's open on Shabbos that has nothing to do with kashrus. Right? It just has to do with their inability to supervise it. But that's what we're talking about. No one's arguing that Second Cup in Toronto isn't allowed to be open on Shabbos. It's owned by a guy. It's not a shutfist. There's no lumdus here. It's owned by a guy. He's allowed to work on Shabbos. If he wants to have non-kosher, he can have non-kosher. He wants to be kosher. They say, look, we can't do hashgacha. It's Shabbos. We just don't do hashgacha on Shabbos in restaurants. Ein malaso, right? I mean, that's not. There's no great lumdus here, right? Again, this has nothing to do with you can drink their coffee. I'm saying to make it kosher. What gets more complicated is, and it's not usually restaurants. Some restaurants, it's much more with hotels. Hotels, it's a much bigger issue in Israel.
Okay.
Right? Because restaurants in general, the ones that are open on Shabbos, they're not the ones who want hashgacha. But hotels, right? A hotel might really want to be kosher, right? They might really want to be kosher, even though they're open on Shabbos. It's very hard to close on Shabbos, and hotels don't have to be closed on Shabbos. You can come up with a way. But you mean you can come up with a way for it to be mutter? The question is, if they don't, right? They don't make a shutfis with a guy in a way that makes it. But the kitchen is kosher. Can you give hashgacha to that? Are you giving a stamp of approval to that? That's already a meta question. Yes, Yaakov.
Well, there is, and I know you're not a fan of our body. Okay.
I don't want to talk about it. I just don't. No, I won't.
Okay, I just want to see what your response to these things is.
No, I don't want to talk about Ravabadi because
Then end of discussion.
Because
forget it.
I would like to outline the issues.
If you go on.
Okay. Meaning, when we finish the issues, I can go back to Ravabadi. But I don't want to start with Ravabadi conclusions. I know he's a different position than most of the rabbinic world. But let's talk about the issues before we get there.
Okay.
Right? Let's not jump to his conclusions. He's a tremendous Talmud Chacham. He has a right to his own opinions. But let's talk about the issues before we get there. This is not like I don't want to talk about him because I don't want to talk about him. It's because I don't want to talk about conclusions before we talk about the issue. So what might be the issue here, right? This issue. So there's a few, right? One potential issue is nemanos. But that's solvable.
Yeah.
Because you got mashgiach.
Right.
Well, could you also say like loss of money? Isn't that not?
You could say, look, okay, the guy's a Machal Shabbos, so he doesn't have nemanos. Fine, but I'll send him mashgiach. Just like I would in a.
Is that a din by definition?
Yeah, he doesn't have nemanos. he make it easy. Okay, he doesn't keep kosher.
He
himself doesn't keep kosher. He has no nemanos.
So can a non-Jew ever have nemanos?
No,
a non-Jew can never.
no,
Okay.
no, never.
Right.
Right? He can't. We only believe in Messiah Lefituma.
Meeting one.
Right?
If you taste it.
I mean, what? No. Well, I'm sorry. It's not true. He doesn't have either. If he's saying it no agav, or certain cases, a kfela can have nemanos, but certain business professionals can have nemanos. It's not nemanos. It's a chazaka that he doesn't want to be mareum naseh.
Right.
Right. So that's what it is. But let's say you could solve all that problem. I mean, you put a mashgiach. It's easy. He doesn't have nemanos. You have a mashgiach, right? Because nemanos is a halachic question. But let's just say, look, there are plenty of kosher hotels that are run kidasu kedin, right? But they have a mashgiach.
Right.
So just put a mashgiach in a hotel that's run not kidasu kedin, but the kitchen is run halachically. So can you do that? Is that a problem? Right? Are you putting a stamp of approval on everything else that's going on there? Now tell me what's the meta concern on both sides? Because this is a good example, l'kula u'l'chomra. This is not a one way. Right? Give me the argument, because this is a meta concern, but it cuts both ways. What's the argument to give hashgacha? What's the argument not?
People are going to eat there even if it doesn't have hashgacha.
Good. So the argument in favor is essentially, look, let's take Israel for example. If you have a restaurant, if you have a hotel, Stam Hotel, I don't know, on the Dead Sea, right? Beautiful resort hotel. People go there, chilonim, datiim, doesn't matter. So now, 6 days a week, me'achuz, everything's fine, you have a mashgiach, it'd be fine. And now, but you don't like they function on Shabbos without a shutfus with a guy, or whatever. So now you're not going to give them hashgacha. So what are they going to do? They're going to have non-kosher food.
Right. Once it's not kosher already.
And you're not going to give them hashgacha, so now they won't. So now they just won't bother.
Right.
They just won't bother. So now, what are you doing? All the chilunim who would have gone there, right? Who would have gone there because it's a good price, it's a nice hotel in a good location. Memela, they eat kosher food. And now, because you're being makbid on Shabbos, right, and you're not giving hashgacha on the food because of what they're doing in terms of kashrus or entertainment, so now they're going to go there because it's still the same nice hotel. The datim won't go there.
Right.
But that doesn't bother me so much. They'll go to the hotel next door. That doesn't bother me. But people who aren't, in general, makbid on kashrus will go there, and now they're not going to eat kosher. That's a reason to give the hashgacha.
Isn't that chal to not? Is that straight? I mean, is that we're saying it's like lifting it even?
So, well, that's the question. You're not being lifting the food.
It's totally kosher.
Right? You're just giving hashgacha on the food. What's the problem?
Well,
the problem is that people may perceive the fact that this has hashgacha and it's as a sign that the rabbinic establishment approves of what this hotel does.
Right.
But you don't. You're just, meaning not everyone is aware of the fact that a hechsher is just on the food. Right? They might say, how could this hotel be badatze de charedis, but they're open on Shabbos and the entertainment on the Monday nights is not what a Ben Torah should be at. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Let's take an extreme example, right? I don't know if there are actual hotels that do this, but they have strippers on Monday nights, yeah. There are?
I mean, there's showgirls in
What?
Vegas.
Okay, fine.
What are you talking about?
Look, I don't know about you. I would say, look, if I was walking by a hotel, and on the front of the hotel it had a big sign that says, this hotel is mitachat the hashgacha, the badatze, the charedis, sheiris, bnei brak, Rav Reuben, the Chazon Ish, and Rav Vadia Gam Yachad, like whatever, whatever. And next to it, they have their entertainment, and it's strippers on Monday. I'd be like,
It's kind of weird.
Mashu, it's a little bit, shtickle off. On the other hand, so the argument. What?
But on the other hand, it's not.
Now, on the other hand, right, so you could say, look, I'll put up a big sign which says, this hashgacha is only on the food, right? We do not approve, right? There is not a stamp of a badatze dacharidis on the entertainment, It's not like, before the entertainment starts, like you have the big sign, approved by Rav Chaim Kanievsky, like not doing that, right? Instead of a big sign, not approved by Rechaim Kanievsky in a Harami. Okay?
Dude, why not?
So here, and I guess today maybe we'll just get to open the issue. Let me read you. I'll read you from Daikovsky where he highlights the Kula and the Chumrah. But what you're going to see is that these sentiments, right? That there's something going on here that is meta, but there are multiple meta things, and you've got to balance them. So what I gave you here is a three-way machloket. Tzitz Eliezer on one side, Rabbi Vadi on the other side, and Rabbi Lau Sr., who tried to make a compromise. Right? But let's just see the Rav Daikovsky's summary first. He says, Yesh misadot batei malon she'ein. This you don't have, but since we have like 20 minutes, I'll read you a summary.
20 minutes, you think we have?
No. Like we only had 20 minutes. Sachakol. You know. Yesh misadot batei malon she'ein makpidim al shmirat Shabbat. Lemaaseh gam batei malon sheyesh b'hem hashgacha mukpedet chelek me'ovdim michutz lamidbach u'lecheder ochel mechelim Shabbat l'tzorach avodatam b'seder v'galoi. There are restaurants and hotels that don't keep Shabbat. Even with those who have good hashgachot, many of the workers don't keep Shabbat. Should you say that we will only give you hashgacha if Shabbat is kept in the whole hotel? Okay.
Like all the people also?
All the Jewish workers, not the
All the workers.
Okay. Meaning, you have to run Kedah. What you do at home is not my problem, but here you've got to run it.
Right.
So he said, Mitzad echad, matan hechsher l'malon mechalal Shabbat v'avodot acherot. Technically, giving a hechsher to a hotel that is mechal Shabbat and other things, kabbalat chadarim, meaning they use the computer or they write down, right? They make you sign for your room on Shabbos.
Right.
Okay?
They make name calls.
Pinui chadarim nikayon, they clean, right? They do laundry, whatever, on Shabbos. Maliyot she'ein kolodet ken Shabbat, the elevators, whatever. Niginav and rachav tziburi, right? Music, whatever. Asaot ovdim v'ot, they have rides for their workers.
It's proper non-Shabbos hotel.
Yeah, legamrei. So on the one hand, notain legitimatzia, if you want to know, yes. Legitimatzia is just legitimization in Hebrew. The chilei Shabbat. And he says, Yevish gam chashash ne'emanut shel bnei beit hamalon min alav nosei kashrut. And l'maisa, these people in Mechalei Shabbat have no ne'emanut. They don't keep kosher, they don't keep Shabbos, they don't whatever, in their own lives. Kashedu shem mechalim Shabbat. And in general, Chil Shabbos makes you lose ne'emanut in general.
But isn't it just if they're doing it b'teil? I thought they don't lose ne'emanut.
Mechalei Shabbat have no ne'emanut, period.
I know, not Shabbat.
Because they're kovdei of a desire, l'chol dafar.
No, but let's say.
Right?
I thought if they're.
Well, not l'chol davar.
Until they get a new chazaka.
These- Even these people aren't. These people are Mechalei Shabbos.
Well, it can't be l'chol davar.
Mechalei Shabbat for Hesia.
I mean, well, I thought
Except for Gidin V'Kiddushin.
I thought if they were, I thought if they're doing it b'teil, but not Shabbos, but like let's say kashrus.
No. First of all, they don't have ne'emanus in kashrus. Someone who,
even if they're doing it b'teil.
yeah, if you're over a chet, even l'te'avon, you don't have ne'emanus in that sin and that mitzvah.
So let's say they're doing something else, like they're over on.
It's different about other things, but that thing, Shabbos is different because it's overpowering.
Yeah.
Because over the Zara.
Right.
I don't want to get into.
If they're sin, like let's say a rayos or something.
Now, obviously, it's a little bit different with our assumptions of Tinuk Shenishba and the like, but it still doesn't give them ne'emanus. They might not be Rishayim, but.
Well, let's say it's like a rayos, or if it was something like that, would they still have ne'emanus? Would they?
Not Binyanei Arayos, they wouldn't.
Right, I'm saying in terms of kashrus.
Yeah.
They would.
Yeah. Potentially. Sheila domet or Rabba v'achaz levatei malon v'echshar rabbanun mekayim merum l'regel chagim nosrim. He said you can have it. What about places that have Christmas festivals? Because the same problem, right? They have Christmas parties.
It's not halacha day for us.
Again, Badatz Eid Charedas next to strippers. Also weird if Badatz Eid Charedas next to this Christmas party is under Badatz Eid Charedas. Like also weird.
Strippers I can see is like a halachic issue. What's like a halachic issue happening?
What do you mean? I'm just supporting another faith's holiday. You're not allowed to do that. You're not even allowed to say Merry Christmas to someone. That's usher. Make her din. It's not even a machlokas and posket. Like it's
because if you say not on Christmas, is it an issue?
if you're actually saying it to be machshav the holiday, yeah, of course. Like that's classic.
Okay.
You can't give chashivos to their holidays. That is a halacha. That's not like a
Okay.
Yeah, like that's. But on the other hand, it'll cause people to eat not kosher who would have ended up eating kosher. So he said, Kayamim, Stadim, Lekan, Lekan, Hachra'a, Ina Chad Mashmi, V'domani, Shigam Rabban Yod Hashonod, Einem Dabur Rabban Yod. He said there really are arguments in both directions, and therefore different Rabban Yod hold in both directions. Now, is this a localized halachic issue? No. Again, is it political? Yes, in the sense that it's policy. But this is not this is not a cynical use of the word. There are real concerns here. Right? There are real communal concerns here in both directions.
In a kashrus way? What's the
Kashrus
concern kashrus wise?
Because kashrus organizations are communal rabbinic institutions.
I understand, but what's
and
the
when they give
No,
I said they're legitimate policy. Like these aren't. There are legitimate policy, again, halachically influenced policy concerns here. There are. Let me put it differently, okay? Let's say someone would go and say, I see badats at Charidus and I see they're having strippers, right? So I know that the badats here must say nothing about the entertainment. Okay? What if it wasn't that? What if it was something that was much more, most people aren't so clear that that's us, right? I could see someone say, like the way sometimes, like let's say you go to the store and you buy Christmas candies and they have an OUD.
Right.
Everyone just laughs. They're like, because it's the same chocolate that was on the M&Ms, but now it's the Christmas ones, and like they just have a hashgacha on everything, and we just laugh.
Why is that not so?
We just laugh because we all understand.
Yeah.
Right? No, everyone understands. They're not supporting Christmas. It's the same chocolate.
Same thing.
Right? They just, Mars and Hershey's and whatever. No, but what if it was a borderline case? What if it was a borderline case where there was a badatzi, the charedis, hashgacha, and it was...
Candy cane.
No, and the entertainment was...
Women singing.
Was fine. Was kol isha.
Right. Microphone.
What's kol isha with a microphone? Fine? Right, nagi.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So now what? If someone looked at it, I assure you the badatzi, the charidus is not okay with it, right? I'm not weighing in on whether you should be okay with it. I'm saying, I'm sure the badatzi, the charidus is not okay with it.
Right.
Okay? But there are rabbis who are okay with it. Okay? Maybe in the minority.
You're saying the microphone thing?
Or even without a microphone, right? There are a minority of poskim who think kol isha is not a problem, okay? But in the right context. Fine? Again, I'm not poskening like that. But I'm saying, if someone saw hashgacha badatzi the charedis and saw that it was kol isha or kol isha on a microphone, how many people do you think would look at that and say, maybe the badatzi charedis holds like that minority group and they didn't realize?
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
For sure.
Right? So that issue, suddenly you see, there's a real concern here.
Totally.
Right? There's a real concern. And usually it's not the case with mamish, it could be things that are mamash al hagvul.
Okay, but no one's going to think that the badas is allowing a Christmas party.
But again, you see my point.
And no one's going to think
that
they're allowing strippers either. Right,
so that's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got to be some like machlokas or something.
Well, let's say,
No.
It's Christmas parties.
That's not true. It does not have to be machlokas. That is not true. There could be things that there's no machlokas about.
Like
there are things that could be no machlokas about, but people don't really view as usher.
Like what?
Like saying Merry Christmas.
Or going to... If there was a hashgacha on a barbecue at a beach. Right? That's not a mutter place to be. Right? Mixed beach in the middle of the summer. Right?
So,
except most people in the modern Orthodox community, they don't really think about it. Right? So now you're going to go there... And they'll say, there's a hashgacha. There must be. The rabbi's okay with it because it doesn't enter their mind. It's not that there's a machlokas about it. There is no machlokas about it. It just didn't enter their mind. Right? They don't think about it as also, but it's a problem. Right? Doesn't have to be a machlokas. That's not how policy works. That's not how people's minds work. Right? They'll look at it and say, aha. Right? Or even if they don't say it, like, but that's behind it. It'll reinforce the fact they don't think it's really bad. But let me, and for the record, okay, and this I guess we didn't really get so far, but let me give you an example. You think it's only something which is not clear, which is osir. I don't think that's true. How many people, the same people who would say, hashgacha should only be about food, should not be about entertainment. I don't care what the entertainment is, hashgacha's on food. How many of those would say the same thing if that restaurant said, I want to have badatzi the charidus and I'm having a neo-Nazi rally here? how many of them would say, pull it, you're giving your support? And you'd say, what do you mean? My hashgacha is just in the food. How many people would turn around and say, no, you can't support the place?
I mean, even if you could still say, that you should give it to them also.
No, but I understand. But I'm saying, I just want to point out that people's intuitions. I'm saying people are not consistent about this. That you'll tell me no one thinks that the badatz is giving a haskama to that, except the same people would turn around and say, "How could you give a hashgacha to a place that's hosting neo-Nazis?" It would be obvious then they should pull their hashgacha, right? Why? You think they're giving a haskama to it? No, but they say that's wrong. So, but right? People, my point is that people are
at that point when it's talking about it's not halachic thing. It is a political thing.
no, but my point is that people aren't consistent.
Yeah, these are metaphors.
Okay.
That I'm saying, and therefore, but that's the notion of halachic policy, is that you're worried about the message you're sending because, there is a raisa value, as the Gemara understands it, of the Yisem Nikim Hashem Yisrael. You have an obligation to be viewed as doing the right thing, not just from God, but from Jews. That is an obligation. Yisem Nikim Hashem Umi Yisrael. If you know in your heart of hearts you're doing nothing usher, but you do something in such a way that everyone else thinks you're usher, you violate an isser.
That's Marasai.
I'm saying there are whole categories that are essentially this. According to you, why does this exist? What's chshad marazayin? I'm doing the right thing. I don't care what anyone else thinks. No, that's not how halacha works. Okay, so next week we'll actually get into the gufa davar and see. Whatever. Next time we do this, we'll try to actually read the Tzitz Eliezer Bovadia and Roy Lau inside, because you're going to see they have three very different positions on this.
What do you think about being off on Shushan Purim, Rob?
And I enjoy Purim in Yerushalayim. Just don't go to anywhere with more than 5,000 people. It's been banned by the government.